You are my enemy, not no Chinese, no Viet Cong, no Japanese. You're my opposer when I want freedom. You're my opposer when I want justice. You're my opposer when I want equality. And you want me to go somewhere and fight for you? You won't even stand up for me here in America for my rights and religious beliefs. So that was a quote from Muhammad Ali. And unless you're of European descent, chances are that you face some sort of systemic racism in a society in which racism is frowned upon. And we have developed a way to around this by using microaggressions. And the main issue is that a good chunk of people that communicate these sort of remarks never tend to meet any psychological harm with these simple comments. But truth is that I faced both sides of the coin when it came to comments about my ethnicity. When I came in sixth grade, I had a teacher tell me that I was pronouncing many basic words incorrectly due to my accent. And as a boy who rarely studied English when I was living in Mexico, unless I was talking to my father in his college class, I was out speaking my only language that my peers knew, which was Spanish. I've also had an undocumented person tell me that I wasn't one of them because I didn't face the same problems they did. And you have no idea how difficult it is for someone that convince someone that you're Mexican when they see you sing Ice Ice Baby at a local karaoke bar. But although I present a couple of less serious moments where I was ridiculed for things, many people have the need to be liked psychologically. And the reason this doesn't get accommodated is because they can't speak the language. And research by sociologists Edward Thayes and Vilma Ortiz over racial treatment in America actually showed that persistent educational disadvantages across generations and frequent reports of discrimination and stereotyping. Hispanic men of darker complexion reported to be higher discriminated against than lightly toned people. So as you can tell, I'm pretty white. But what incriminated me from the American culture was my accent. I grew up in southern Mexico from age 5 to 12, so arriving to the States, I adjusted to my Mexican culture. So transferring to southern Texan culture was quite difficult and made me a social outcast from 6th to 8th grade. But the risk for major depression seems to be greater in US born Mexican Americans than for Mexican immigrants. And depression is one of those things that aren't really talked about in family. Years of being surrounded by machismo beliefs, such as men are always supposed to tough it out, but we're not really supposed to show any emotion because it shows weakness. I'm not here to persuade you. I'm just here to inform you of the risks. So the truth is that as you grow up in a society, you have two identities. You have to choose which one you need to accommodate. And the issue is that these two identities are vastly different. So on the Mexican side, I need to know how to speak perfect Spanish. I need to be knowledgeable on Mexican culture, know what kind of music is popular, know about who is just good at the moment. But then this leads to my vastly different side, which is my American side. So my American side is different in the way that it consists of English. I need to be able, not like soccer for one. And sadly, at a time that these two things clash, when these two things clash, you need to make a decision. What do I want to be? Do I want to be more Mexican? Do I want to be more American? And the more you chose to alienate yourself with these classes, the more away you take yourself away from your roots. So, for example, I had to drop several things from my Mexican culture to be able to transfer to my American culture. I was lucky enough to be the color, and people think that you can just exchange these two things. Sadly, you can't exchange your personalities. The reason behind that is because they're so vastly different that you need to train yourself to be good at one another. And once you perfect a certain aspect of your life, you can't go back to what made you part of your other culture. Mexican and Americans always have this differentiation between that family is important, you can never leave your family. And although Americans are family driven, it's not a big part of their society as it is in ours as in Mexican. So, concluding thoughts would be that you want to resonate more with the group that you're aligning yourself with. If you believe that the American side is better because, the culture, you tend to befriend people that are more towards those American sides. But if you like more of the Mexican culture, people will take notice of this. So although you're not knowingly choosing to alienate yourself from these two identities, you end up clashing them. And that's what at times causes major depression in amongst people. Thank you so much.